I wish there was a clever way of calling this tournament the PvP Open Cup, but I can't think of a clever way to do it. But this Open Cup has really come to a, usually comes down to a lot of Protosses in the round of 16. The usual stellar heavy hitters in the round of 8, like Hero Marine and Clem. And, then usually by the round of 4 we know what to expect, but like, so many Protosses. And the Zergs kind of get taken out of the equation by the round of 16 too. When did the Protoss race infest Europe? Apparently like a year ago. And it doesn't help when you have Americans going over and helping the infestation either. In the top right is the blue Protoss for Team Exxon. He is Geralt from Poland, if his name doesn't give it away. And the bottom left is the red Protoss from America. He is Ting's Neeb. Goes by Neeblet on a lot of things for some reason. At one point, I think he even tried to push being called Neeblet, like 3 or 4 years ago at a BlizzCon, but I'm not actually sure how much he cares about it. Neeb's a nice guy, but I don't really hang out with him that often, so I don't think I've ever asked him about it. He is actually one of my favorite people to hang out with, not because like me and him have like long talks that go into the night or anything like that, but just because he's such a shy little nerd. So adorable. Oh my god. Like when he had his first drink and he like watched this kid grow up and you're like, oh my god, it was like a part of your life kind of. Oh my god. Oh my god, you're having your first drink. Oh my god, look at that. You know what I mean? It's this weird thing that happens when all the commentators are like a billion years old and all the players are young. In fact, Neeb at this point, now you're old, man. What do you think of that, Neeb? You're old. Geralt's younger than you. Neeb's an old man. And someone like Damaga, forget about it. He's basically dead. Damaga actually still plays. He just, he got 2-1'd by Bly in the round of 16, but he's been playing in like every single Open Cup. Kind of impressive. He started out in Starcraft 2 as one of the older pros, but anyways, jokes aside, just kidding. Stargate for Stargate. I do believe this is coincidence. I don't actually think that the Void Ray opener is going to be seen by a lot of people, or that Stargate is going to make such a huge comeback. But it's not surprising to me to see that, you know, one-base Stargate is common. I feel like it was common even before the Void Rays. Common being like, oh, I don't know, at least 40% of the time, something like that, right? Yeah, something like that. So, anyways, Neeb has shown some preference to opening up Stargate and Void Rays versus the cheesier options of a Protoss player, but not many people are cheesing off of one base anymore in PvP. Not many. Some still try. But I think when you get to the tippy top of the pros, you don't really get a lot of victories anymore with like a proxy robo. Very different than PvP a year ago. Neeb's Adepts are recalled. Geralt is still searching around for the pylon. Oh, I actually found it, so searching around for anything else that might be there. He's gonna proxy his own pylon. There you go. And he could use that. I think that's like the powerful thing about it is that he could use it. He could use it for Adepts. He could proxy a gateway like he did in the last game versus Goblin, or he could just let that stand there and you know, maybe later will be used. Who knows? Oracle is seen by Geralt as Neeb's Oracle takes out a probe. Nothing in the natural to hit. Main base is a shield battery. How about for Neeb? No shield battery, but he's got 2 stalkers, so that should be fine. As opposed to no probes going down. Actually, this one got 1. So it's 1 versus 2, and both Oracles live. Although clearly Geralt's Oracle is a little bit weaker. It's a little bit deader. Adepts do get into the main base, which is kind of obnoxious because they actually reach into the mineral lines. If they, you know, reach here, it's not as bad. If they reach here, it's definitely not as bad. But if they actually get into the mineral line with their shade finishing, that's when it guarantees a couple of probe kills. Oracle tries to take advantage of at least the army being out of position. Grabs a couple of more probes, and that's a total of 5, actually. Not too bad for Geralt. Geralt has killed 8 workers. Well, Neeb has only killed 2, so Neeb's already down by 6. He is, however, slightly faster to blink, but it'll be slower to +1. I mean, Neeb should just be straight up in the worst position. Worse, being, like, not horrendous, but not as good. That faster blink probably won't affect the game too much. This stasis trap actually does get put down, but only gets 1 probe. Neeb starts up at +1. Just slightly faster. Very, very similar game. Except that Geralt is ahead 4 probes still. So Geralt gets the lead. But it is Eternal Empire. It's the new age of PvP. We don't see such... not decisiveness. We don't really see the end of PvP that quickly. With Blink Stalkers, I think being actually a very high skill ceiling, there we go, high skill ceiling unit, I think that gives a lot more flexibility than Charge Lot Archon, which, I mean, it had its complexities. Charge Lot Archon, +2 timing attack on their 3rd base. Ooh, that's so exciting. It happens every single game, blah, blah, blah. It had its complexities. You know, positioning was a big deal. Concaves were a big deal. Guardian Shield could really affect it. Not as much as Guardian Shield could affect Blink Stalkers, but still. You know, well, how many Immortals versus how many Archons. Like, it was interesting, but it was pretty much just like, well, I'm pretty sure I have more. Or my +2 is faster. So let's just do this. Let's just tango. Whereas I think Blink Stalkers have a lot more flexibility. There's a lot more of like, well, I have 3 more Stalkers, but I'm not about to push into a shield battery, right? Definitely not. Or I have more Stalkers than I should be in the lead, but oh crap, I didn't find the army. Now I've lost a couple of probes to a run by. Like, I feel like PvP is actually... There is still a fair amount of chance. I think that makes the pros very uncomfortable with the matchup, so I don't want to call it a really good matchup for their sake. But as a spectator, I feel like it's gotten to be a lot more fun. There's a lot more just back and forth, and not just because disruptors go bam. Well, that's certainly a big part of it. They're not gonna have disruptors anytime soon, though. Neeb's gonna start off by going for Charge Archon, but we have seen this. The developing state of PvP. Sometimes you don't go right into disruptors, you go into Blink Charge Archon first, but it seems like eventually everyone gets the disruptors. It seems that way. Guardian Shield is cast, but the sentries being on the front line get immediately taken down, and Neeb, well, actually just needs to game. So, yeah. Yeah. I would hype it up, but it doesn't really matter. GG. By the end of that, game, like, show you, it was doubling the stalker count. Stasis Trap hadn't done anything. Neeb had gotten to a couple of more probes, but I think he was working on too many tech structures. So that was kind of more just like, he stopped building stalkers, and Geralt continued building stalkers, which ended up being a very one-sided engagement, which took away my entire point about how this matchup's cool. Took away the entire point. The game ended very abruptly. Alright. Game number 2 is going to be on Death Aura. In the bottom right, up 1, he is Geralt. In the top left, it is Neeb.
Thank you for becoming a member.
Thank you. I am in denial. For the tier 1 sub. I get it. I got it. Dude, Geralt's so good he got second in his group. Did he get second? I was like literally talking about this, and then I already forgot. It definitely made it into the playoffs. I just remember if he made it to top 2. Nah, it was top 3. I was like, I didn't think he made it to top 2. Yeah, it goes Clem, Mana, Geralt, and then Skillus. Would have been nice if he had been top 2. That puts you in the upper bracket, but he still gets a shot at the playoffs, just starting off in the lower bracket. I don't know who he's facing. I did check out the playoffs bracket today, but aside from laughing at Mana, poor guy, I didn't really take super note of everyone's potential. I do remember I liked all of the matchups, so I was excited about a lot of them. Alright, we got Geralt going for a 1 gateway expand, as Neeb goes for a more typical 2 gateway. No, wait a minute. Oh, he went for a Nexus first? The Nexus before Cybercore? Shit, I should have been paying more attention. I assumed PvP, right? I did constantly reference Death Aura as one of the maps that has the options of 1 gate expanding or an Nexus firsting. And then every time I mention it, it never happened. Pillars of Gold is the more common one to talk about that for. But Death Aura also, for some reason, has the same thing. And we finally see it. I wasn't paying attention. God damn it. But whatever. Point is, they both go for some odder openers. Geralt is more limited on production. He'll catch up in gateways, but he'll be more limited in production. Second gateway is slower, and his Stargate, well, he doesn't have a Stargate. He went for a Twilight Console, so that's not going to give him production, it's going to give him technology. Whereas Neeb is going to have this Oracle on top of having the units, whatever he wants to warp in. Geralt sees that. Geralt sees the Stargate. I guess Neeb didn't care about hiding it. And knows he's gonna have maybe a tricky time defending both bases with his limited production. But that's where Shield Battery's coming to play. Alright. Geralt, you gonna go for Dark Shrine? Go for Dark Shrine. Go for the Dark Shrine. That's cheeky. Obviously, Neeb would have access to an Oracle, but... And while it does its new Revelation, the one that costs less, but then has less time of actually seeing the unit, it does kind of help against DTs. Like, the surprise factor might just kill Neeb. Adepts are gonna still get, like, 4 probes, maybe? Yeah, they're gonna get 4 probes. Ah! 5? Woo! Still gonna get 5 probes with being blocked out from the main base. That is nice. Neeb does not know about the technology of Geralt, so he did have to invest into a shield battery that's actually not going to be useful. It doesn't help against DTs, so his DTs one-shot probes. But yeah, just felt like he had to, so... That is a waste, but it's not important, actually. What's more important is that the Dark Shrine is on the way, and Neeb has no idea. Oh, man, the timing. Oh, he's not gonna see it anyways, doesn't matter. Oh, ouchie boobles. What happened to the other Oracle? Did he just not make an Oracle that entire time? This is the first Oracle. Oh, is he looking? Oh, he's gonna find it. Ooh, wow, that timing though. Wow, I mean the probe was definitely not going over here, and then he decided to readjust, and that is absolutely important. It looks like he was already suspicious. I guess with the lack of Stargate opener and the possibility of a Dark Shrine, and the Dark Shrine is the worst possible thing that could happen. So that's the number one thing you want to keep your eye out for. Yeah, Neeb actually did so, and saved his life in the process, so simply denied Geralt any chance to do damage. Second Oracle for backup for safety is not a bad idea. Neeb goes for his own Dark Shrine, and this time it's up to Geralt to get some scouting done, as he does not yet have the Observer. He sees it. He could misread it as a pylon, but I'm going to assume he did not. That is a Dark Shrine scouted. This one is going to be denied. It actually is kind of nice to take it out of the equation. It'll be remade later if we go into the later stages of PvP, but a nice building to tear down. They both are adding on everything you would expect. Blink +1 and a Robo. Geralt's Blink being a lot faster, but then he committed into those DTs, which cost him a fair penny, a couple pennies. Proxy pylon's never a bad idea. Third Nexus is scouted. Pretty similar times on the third Nexus. Oh, Geralt actually took out the stalkers here. Saved his Dark Shrine in the process, so hopefully he doesn't have to rebuild it. St. Phoenix sees an Observer being produced. Well, presumably an Observer. I think he's gonna assume it's an Observer. And while he might not be able to use his Dark Shrine right here, right now, I do believe that Neeb's not going to feel so bad about not being able to use it. It is now expected to be used in mid to late game. Good blink forward, take out one of the Oracles, but the other one will survive. And that's not just a proxy pylon. That's a proxy gateway. Geralt gonna go for something similar to last game, and well, more similar to his game versus Goblin on this map. He is going to produce a lot of stalkers. Neeb could be not producing stalkers. He could be producing more probes. He could be producing the Twilight Council charge and Templar archives, right? Just like last game. However, Neeb so far is not invested into that. He is just building stalkers, so it's not going to be nearly as one-sided as Eternal Empire. Geralt's gonna have to make something happen here. Fancy footwork, target fire down the shield battery. Overcharge can't be used. Neeb did not really see the attack coming, but the tentacle for the pylon does work out. It is going to be immediately replaced, and Neeb was very aggressive on his counter blink. He also grabbed the Observer, so now a DP defense is possible if he even has to go for it. He also had a Guardian Shield, which would really affect Blink Stalker fights, and Geralt has to respect that. Poked in, saw what he could do, and that answer, what could I do, was actually pretty much nothing. So it's on to the next stage. Oh, look at this cool little warp. Oh my god, he blocked it out. Oh my god, he's an idiot. Oh my god, he blocked it out. No. That was pretty cool. That was slick. That was cool. Neeb's very slight DT harassment doesn't work out, but he actually still gets a couple of probes, and is already working his way to +2. Now, +2 is something that Geralt would also want, but I absolutely agree with Geralt's choice to go into Disruptors first. He did not have as many probes as his opponent, so he knows when that attack did not work. Not only does he have to worry about a counterattack, as that was plenty of stalkers for Neeb, as well as a couple of Guardian Shields, he also has to worry about the economy game. Like, he's behind. He is behind. And Disruptors are the best comeback tool, whereas an upgrade would just keep you afloat, just keep you even on them, which you don't want. Oracle does go down, so no longer has to worry about that. Second Robo's trying to finish up. First Disruptor is being chronoed out, as Neeb moves his way into Geralt's third, decides to go up the ramp. No, just kidding. No, he's going to go towards that third. That is where Geralt has prepared an extra cannon and an extra shield battery as well. Oh, the blink forward immediately takes that out. No overcharge for you. No shield batteries whatsoever. Barely even the cannon, to be honest. And a couple of force fields as well. The Immortal is not getting his shields popped, and this is looking quite desperate for Geralt. His Disruptor is here, but is it going to actually get a good shot? Blink is still off cooldown for a lot of these Stalkers, and Geralt's trying his best to wait for the good shot. That was a pretty good one, and he grabs the Immortal as well, but the cost of 25 probes, I don't think will be good enough. A second Disruptor is still a long ways off, and Neeb has a Warp Prism. He is going to kill Geralt here. That is just a fact. Way too many Stalkers. Maybe if he hadn't also lost all of his probes. And he suddenly killed his entire army. Which isn't happening. Third disruptor actually going to come out. And that is that. GG. Wow, these games ending more abruptly than I thought they would. Nothing but abrupt games today, really. Someone attacks, someone dies. Someone attacks, someone dies. Someone engages into a late game Protoss army, someone dies. Not the most back and forth we've ever seen. Mana is now up against Hero Marine, which... I'd like Mana. I feel like Hero Marine's PvT is actually unbeatable. I know it's a strong word, but like, holy shit. Game 3 is going to be on Everdream. In the bottom left is the blue Protoss. He is Geralt. And top right, we do have the red Protoss, Neeb. Alright, so last game, the openers were a lot more interesting than I thought they would be, so I'm going to be paying very close attention to these ones. But since it's Everdream, I'm anticipating more of the double gateway opener. And yeah, that's what they're setting up for. Neeb scouts around for any, I guess, really cheeky situations. There's the second gateway for him, second gateway for him. Scouting will go on. As it do, as PvP be. These guys aren't really getting to show us what they can do with disruptors quite yet. Just too bad. For me, I don't know, because Neeb won Kespa Cup in that era where PvP was disruptors for a lot of the foreign scene, and it was starting to trickle into the Korean scene, but Neeb just came in like a... I don't know what, like a something. He just came in and was like, ka-chow, ka-chow, all disruptors, PvP all the time, and won. And I just, you know, of course I actually would like to see Neeb, I guess, be up to that level again, defeating the Koreans in Kespa Cup. Which, I guess, nowadays isn't seen as that big of a deal. Cyril's done better, right? But back in the day was a really, really big thing. But anywho, I would love to see Disruptors between these two guys. It's also just a fun PvP. But it looks like we're going to have something different. Geralt's going for a proxy Stargate, and Neeb is going for a proxy gateway. Proxy 3-gate against an Oracle. How did this probe get in there? What the hell? So... Geralt knows that Neeb doesn't have an expansion and that he doesn't have anything else. That's awfully suspicious. But he opened up with 2 Stalkers, which doesn't mean that you can't also get a Stargate, but it would mean he Stargates later. I don't know if Geralt's figuring out about the 3rd gateway, but he should be suspicious something is up, right? He does not... Yeah, so he's getting a shield battery, because that it's still in play. Like, another Stargate could still be in play. He's not going to try and scout around for it. He's going to send his adepts across the map and try and break into the main alongside this Oracle, which has just been scouted by this probe of Neeb. Shield battery finishes up in the nick of time, but the adepts are also here, so it's going to force a recall. Oh no, a stasis trap. Oh, it's not going to finish. Oh! Barely doesn't finish, but 5 probes still go down because the adepts got in. The adepts actually doing some really crazy good work here. 7 probes go down, plus 1 escapes, plus it forced a recall. Now you have a better idea as to what they're doing. If their Oracle is not entered into your main by now, what else could they be doing? If a War Prism hasn't entered in by now, what else could they be doing? It should be, you know, if you're really thinking about it, maybe you're checking off the things that it isn't. 3 gateways, probably coming at you. And for that, you need a shield battery. This pylon on the high ground is going to be able to produce shield batteries on the low ground, but it would have been so much nicer if that would have already been built. Now this shield battery will not be finished. And this is going to be still a bit spicy. Another Oracle has been produced, headed right for the main base for another stasis trap, no doubt, as it can't do much else. Neeb's not fully committing to this. He has his own natural nexus on the way. Forceful's not going to happen, actually. Oh, no, kind of, but, I mean, does that really help? It's only 2 Stalkers here for Geralt against just 3 that are actually attacking his, but 3 is still greater than 2, guys. That's math for you. And that high ground pylon we just sniped with the 2 shield back on the low ground, not even going to be effective. Oh my god. I think Neeb might have done it. The Oracle tried to get in here again, but it didn't even do very much. And now it's Neeb's turn to throw down those force fields. Geralt's got to go into emergency mode here. I think he's got to go into a robotics bay. That's it, man. Killing a Nexus. Oh, he tries to frame me. It's not a bad idea. That was not a bad idea. Geralt just had so few resources. Even with the time that he bought, he's far too invested into things that didn't help him back at home. I don't think Geralt should give up quite yet, but he's got to be desperate. This Oracle can only do so much in this game, and it's not really worth getting another Oracle from this Stargate. I think he just pumped out an Immortal without trying to get to a War Prism. Yeah, 4 probes will go down, but the Oracle dies. Stargate's going to be denied any further production. There's the robotics bay finally. That's right. I thought he would do that a little bit faster. Now, this can happen. It hasn't happened in a while, it feels like, but what would happen in the past is that a Colossus would come out first, and then you could try and play Colossus style and hope that I guess, odd composition kind of offset you being behind. So you can try and take advantage of this high ground situation with the chokes. But what's going to potentially give you a better comeback option is going to be Disruptors. He might just go straight into Disruptors now because he's not being contained anymore. He actually pushes out, but Neeb's not done, man. Geralt, he's looking around for a proxy, I guess? But, oh my god, he's so wrong. Oh no. Oh no. Because he never scouted where the proxy was. He's gonna have to recall, but this is so awkward. He's gonna lose his production. Disruptor's on the way being chronoed, but this might just be too late. The War Prism is saved by the shield battery. But there's so many units in this main base. Neeb is almost doubling the army supply. Where did the Immortal go? Oh my god, he recalled the Immortal! Oh no! Oh my god. And the Robo died. No Disruptor. This fucking Immortal. You goddamn loser. How did it not get recalled? What happened to it? Where was it? Imagine if there was a Disruptor on the way. Imagine if this Immortal had actually been recalled. What the hell? I mean, he was pretty desperate, but this could have been the start of a comeback, maybe. Maybe Neeb overcommits. Doesn't realize the Immortal's part of the equation, but even as he continues committing here, I think he's done enough damage to warrant it. Recall's going to be used to save about 4, actually 3 units. And Geralt is not going to tap out. But God, imagine if that Immortal be recalled. What the hell? Well, one comeback option and still no Disruptor. For a time there, Neeb didn't have a Robo, so maybe DTs could have done it, but Geralt would have had to have hid his Twilight Council and Dark Shrine. So many unfortunate things happening in this game. Geralt not recalling the Immortal was the latest one, but even the pylon being depowering the shield batteries in the low ground is so, oh god. Because they're not supposed to be up on that high ground. You know, worst case scenario is usually that they get close enough to the pylon on the low ground, and then they have high ground vision. You know, that can happen. But for Neeb to actually be on the high ground and killing them, no, wasn't supposed to happen. It's a bit too late in the force field. And then being totally out of position with an improper recall, just salt in the wound. This Disruptor is in a very weak Warp Prism. That is precarious. Oh! God, it would have been so great if Blink wasn't off cooldown. Geralt odds the Disruptor alive, and a second one's on the way. So there's a few things that Neeb is going to have to tear down, but Neeb has once again almost doubled the armor supply of his opponent, and has the ability to target down the Disruptors and then deal with the Immortal later, I would say. Or deal with that first, you know, either way. Either way. Here's the second Disruptor shot. It's 3 Stalkers. Overcharge is good, but a Blink is even better. Don't need no Guardian Shield. Not even hitting any of his own units. Not even affected by that. Never give up, never surrender, right? GG. Recall radius is so small. It is. That's one of the things I've learned playing Protoss. It is smaller than you would like, but if you're playing the other race, then it's